This is the Bladtcast. Welcome to our Major League Baseball preview, taking a look at all the teams vying for the World Series, but mostly a way for beaten-down Mets fans to manage expectations and prepare for disappointment. Christian Bladt is joined by Salman himself, comedian David Weiss, writer-comedian David Brody, and author Devin Gordon. So break out your peanuts and Cracker Jacks, crack open an old style, and get ready for a ceremonial first pitch from Christian Bladt.
Oh my goodness, that's me. Thanks to the great Farhad Muhammad for recorded that intro a number of years ago, and pretty much every year it's still true. We can be as optimistic as we want, but look, it's almost opening day, the one day where everybody starts 0-0, although it's a bit of a wacky arrangement for people that want to watch their teams on opening day. As always, I am Christian Bladt, and with me is the Dark Prince himself. Some of you know him as Salman, but he is also the great David Weiss. How are you, sir?
What's up, America?
And David Brody will be along shortly. As Joe Buck used to always say, Tim McCarver coming up, David Brody coming up. But with us is Devin Gordon, who it's always worth mentioning, the author of So Many Ways to Lose, the amazing true story of the New York Mets, the best worst team in sports. It's been a few years since you published that. I don't know how many digital-only chapters you could have added by now. At least 10, right, Devin?
One per season, I kind of think. I mean, the book
only one?
Well, you know, I guess if you really wanted to chop it up, but I mean, each season since has had its own, even the good one.
I love that you said, even the good one.
Even the two good ones. The first good one, had two collapses in it. Right?
Yes, that's true.
And the other one, the more recent one, was so improbable that it was Mets in its own way. So let's see what this year brings. Maybe we'll just have a normal year. What do you think?
What's going to be the grimace of this year? But my own personal grimace, of course, is our friend David Brody, who
hey,
sir. Oh my gosh, you're starting the season on the IL. What happened? What's with the wrist?
I have no idea. I woke up with a sore wrist. I've got inflammation. Don't even use my left hand for anything. I'm right-handed, and I got a brace on it. I got a cortisone shot. So I'm on the IL with Tuckman, and I'll see you around June 1st.
Oh, my God. You're on the 60-day? Oh, no. Bro.
That was a very succinct injury update. I like it.
Yes.
Well, I do want to.
I still get paid the league minimum, and as David will attest, I'm here for the pizza, baby. Let's go.
Oh, I don't think Weiss is going to promise any pizzas this year.
No. I learned my lesson.
Yeah, Devin, I think you were gone by that point in the show, but
what happened?
Weiss started. Well, go ahead, Weiss. Why don't you recap the way some of your? He was so confident in some of his really outlandish predictions.
I believe I predicted the Cubbies would finish last, and I bet Flobo and Brody a Lou Malnati's pizza each.
Yeah.
And I paid up, and they were delicious. Yeah. Am I right?
Fantastic.
There are no real losers in that bet. That's what I think.
Well, except for Weiss, actually. Weiss was the loser of that bet.
No. There's no such thing.
He did pay up, yeah. So I believe that we're not going to expect any pizzas, but there is a lot to talk about as we look at, all 30 squads. But as we do traditionally, we will start with the Mets. Mm-hmm. And our friend Flobo Boyce can't be with us at the start of the season this year. I believe he's in a contract dispute. He's holding out for more money. And, so far, the two sides are really far apart, unfortunately. So,
more money, maybe, but not more years. Not with David Stearns. That's
right.
Learned.
He's not getting more years.
I'll double 3.
Money, but I'm not signing him for more than 3 years.
Exactly. High AAV, everybody. High AAV.
And just in case, we want to make sure that we bring the level of class that is required to this show. Calverton's in the chat wants to know, is this the right place to talk about balls and strikes? Yes, but you have to tap your head before you get to talk about it, and we'll see how that goes. In any event, I think we have to start, as always, talking about the Mets. And if you're going to talk about the Mets, you have to talk about who's no longer with the team. And I will go first and say that it pains my daughter that Pete Alonso is no longer on the Mets, but she quickly pivoted and she said that the Orioles are now her second favorite team. I'm like, listen, the Mets stayed first, and we'll see how long.
Come back to haunt you either.
No, there's no way. I don't know. I don't know if she's only 8. I don't think she's built for the O's train. There's a couple of ups, but a lot of downs. So we'll see how that goes. But I still have fond memories of Pete Alonso. I hope he has a monster year in Baltimore, except for the 3 games where they show up at Citi Field. Edwin Diaz, on the other hand, I don't wish any kind of injury, but I do hope he loses his job to Tanner Scott by June 1st. So there was a video that was making the rounds. They were doing exhibition games at Dodger Stadium, and he came out to his Timmy Trumpet, and all of it just felt wrong. It's you don't want your ex to be happier with the new man in her life. Devin, let me start with you about those are fairly significant subtractions from a fan standpoint. And I think the Diaz one surprised even David Stearns. I think that they thought that they were going to be able to keep him. But I guess he felt disrespected when Devin Williams got so much money. Maybe it's not even that, but what are your thoughts?
I mean, Diaz was the one to me that put us all on edge about how this offseason was going, right? I mean, if all the things happened aside from that, the problem was that all the bad things happened at once, right? And then all the good things happened after that, which was, if you reshuffle the deck and, chop them up and do it in a different order, we might have had totally different emotional ride during that entire offseason. But the Diaz one was the one that really, I think, sort of shook a lot of people's faith, because it was the one that felt like a mistake. It felt like the one that got away from them. We knew they didn't want Pete Alonso, right? We knew this, right? Yeah. The Brandon Nimmo thing was a surprise and a bit of a gut punch. But if I'm being honest, I liked it when it happened. I did not relish the idea of paying Brandon Nimmo for 5 more years, much as I like him. And we can get into Brandon Nimmo a lot more later. But I do think the peculiar case of Brandon Nimmo may have been an endemic of what went wrong in that clubhouse in the 2025 season. Sometimes bad clubhouses aren't stormy and combative. They're just sort of like, ugh, and eye rolling and like, enough of this fucking guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think Nimmo may have been a big part of that. So I think it's probably good that he's gotten out of that mix. I also I've always coveted Marcus Semien, so I was delighted that we're getting him, even if we're getting him a little later than I'd like. I just want a glove at second base. So, but also those two were players I think that we knew were maybe sort of possibly part of the shakeup. Diaz was the one we were like, no, that guy was awesome. We wanted to keep him. And then we got excited about this mega bullpen. Right? The mega bullpen of Diaz and Devin Williams at once, right? Now, here we go. David Stearns is going all in. Cohen's going all in. And then that wasn't it at all, right? They pulled out the rug. Diaz goes. Alonso goes. Nimmo goes. And they're like, oh, my God, what the hell is happening? Pretty soon, everybody we know and love is gone. And I think that emotional whiplash was really tough for Mets fans, but I'm going to shut up and let somebody else speak, because the fact of the matter is I am personally in a very different place. I'm super fired up about this team. And I wouldn't have been if we had run it back. I wouldn't have been if I'm being
right.
And so I'm like as sort of giddy with excitement about a Mets team as I've probably been in a while. If you go into it considering that in 2024, we weren't expecting to be very good. So it's been a little while since we've had like real expectations.
Yeah. I mean, I think last year it was, okay, they had success, in 24. So heading into the season, it was like, okay, yeah. So they're just kind of tweaking that a little bit. And boy, is that not what it was. But as we're talking about addition by subtraction, Mr. Weiss, there's one player that I
Oh,
know
I
you
forgot
couldn't
the
be
name.
happier to not have on the team. And why don't you start with your favorite 2 words during recent baseball seasons?
McNeil sucks.
And now he gets to suck in Sacramento for 81
A
games.
good
year.
town for sucking.
I love that ballpark, by the way. It's a beautiful, minor league ballpark.
Beautiful AAA ballpark.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
But-
he's a good AAA player.
He is. He is, especially when it's second and third, nobody out, and he pops up.
Well, I just can't wait to see him throw a green helmet into the ground after he strikes out with only 1 out and the bases loaded. Or I mean, he hits into a double play. So obviously, we've talked about your white hot passion with which you hate Jeff McNeil, but
Yeah.
legitimately, from a baseball standpoint, how much better does that make the team heading into 26?
Well, it remains to be seen because Simeon is replacing him. And while I anticipate the glove will be better, how much does Simeon have left in the tank offensively? Is he going to be an average hitter, or is he going to be below average? And we'll, mid-season we'll be saying the glove makes some for the bat.
I'm gonna text you a lot of side-by-sides during the season of Simeon and McNeil, and
Okay, good.
we'll see where we're at.
I want to see it.
Yeah, and when we do our playoff preview, which who knows, that's so long away, we'll see how it all ends up. But yes, I know that there are some questions, but the glove is such an upgrade that you hope that even if he is just a completely average, and by that I mean what 260 hitter, we'll probably
I'll take it.
He's
I'll
also
take
not a
it.
dick.
Yeah, exactly.
There is that.
Exactly. And I think
So there's
that's
that, right?
Stearns for in corporate speak, restructuring the clubhouse and all that kind of. He got rid of the assholes.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the tandem that they most feel confident in succeeding, Lindor and Soto. You want to cater to those players and not maybe the players that there were issues with. Brody is the one of us who currently resides in the New York area. You might have a little bit more of a local feel, but let's talk about all of the players that we've mentioned, all of these subtractions before we talk about some more of the big shiny additions.
Well, let's take a look at 2023 when everyone was upset that they let Luis Guillorme go. And then in 24, everyone was upset that they let Iglesias go.
Yeah.
That was the end of the franchise when they let utility infielders go. And
look, I still think Joe McEwing could probably fill in and behind the
Joe
plate.
Mack.
Yeah.
Joe Mack. That being said, at least we've had some actual talent leave where people could be legitimately upset. Now, as far as Nimmo, would have taken him for another year or two, but 5 more years. Great job by Stearns getting him out. That was a terrible contract. It was a homer fan favorite contract. Terrible idea, especially with the CBA ending. We don't know what's going to happen with a salary cap. You do not want to be burdened with 5 years of that guy who can't run anymore.
It's worth mentioning that they had to get him to waive a full no trade clause. So we can thank Jacob. We can thank Jacob deGrom for convincing him that he wanted to come to Texas.
Was Nimmo a Stearns signing or an Epler signing?
Epler.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was Epler. They signed him when they got rid of the 2 starting Scherzer and Verlander. That whole week of mayhem. Great job getting rid of Nimmo, only because of the contract. The clubhouse stuff, we can talk more about it, but I do know people who are in the clubhouse who can verify, and I can expound on that later. As far as Pete, I would have given him a higher AAV for 3 years. I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for homegrown talent. I'm a sucker for people that embrace the 9/11 charities. I'm a sucker for the way he bled the team colors. He was a big doofus, and I loved him. So I don't care about his defense. He was willing to play DH. If you got to give him $50 million a year for 3 years, maybe he would have taken that. I don't know, but I would have tried. And I don't think they offered him. They didn't even offer him that.
Zero.
As far as
They offered him nothing.
They didn't even come to him and say, we'll give you 50 a year for 3 years. How do you not do that? As far as who's left? Oh, Diaz, huge mistake. But listen, you tell the guy, allegedly, you tell the guy, if you get a better offer, come back. We have a little leeway. You have the best relief pitcher in baseball. You give him everything you have and say, this is our best offer. You don't say, hey, we might be able to give you a raise. Well, then give me the friggin' raise. Who plays? You don't screw around with the best closer in baseball. And then you get Devin Williams. You don't call up Diaz immediately and say, listen, this is not in case you get in trouble. This is not to alternate days. Yeah. This is you are the man. This guy's the 8th inning guy. You have Devin Williams call Diaz and say, I'm the 8th inning guy. I hope you're cool with that. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
They blew it.
See you in February.
They blew it and then you have an opportunity to go to the Dodgers. Goodbye. I'm out.
Yeah, right.
Sure. So now, as far as McNeil, Brett Beatty proving that you can play every position and not be Jeff McNeil. As far as Simeon's offense, Jeff McNeil's a 247 hitter. So can Simeon hit 230 and play better defense and not be a dick? I'm in. Yeah. And he served the purpose of getting rid of Nimmo. So he got rid of Nimmo's contract, better defense, not a dick, don't care if he hits, play Gold Glove, make Lindor happy. We're all good. Make the pitching staff better, double plays, make whoever's playing first better because the throws are more accurate. I'm good. He's a win-win all the way around.
They didn't do that with Polanco at first. They did not improve the first base defense.
But Brett Beatty's going to be playing first also,
I think they improved it because they went from,
how?
Well, because they went from the, unfortunately, with all due respect for Pete,
the
worst first baseman in baseball.
Was he
playing every single day too? By the way, to a guy who's I think it's probably gonna be league average just because he's a shortstop. He's a good fielder, and he's probably only gonna play it probably about maybe half to 100 of the games. I think we're gonna improve our first base defense because we got nowhere to go but up.
Well, and I mean, I think that all you need to do is look at the moment when Pete wasn't able to cover first base, and it basically derailed the entire season.
It's the throws also.
The throwing was bad.
And I say this as someone who, by the way, I just should say, I kind of agree with you. I wanted Pete to come back. I think they should have brought him back. I guess part of what I was saying earlier was that I just didn't expect it was going to happen. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
I don't consider it a mistake. Like when I looked at, I would have loved to have Pete at 3 for 40 a year, 45 a year. When I saw that contract from the Orioles, I was like, okay, Godspeed.
Yeah, right. No, you can't match that.
Now, I can't buy that.
But they didn't try.
Well, I think they didn't want to put him in a situation where he had to turn it down. I think that's what it was. They didn't want
some of these things, these they didn't offer, they didn't try. It's very hazy. Like, if Scott Boras had said, "Look, we are not taking a 3-year high AAV offer, so don't waste your breath." Yeah. Then they didn't waste their breath. We don't know. We don't know. But they've made it pretty damn clear they were not taking 3 years if they could find it. I think the Mets are like, there's no way he's getting 4 years. Yeah. And somehow he got
I think the Mets were dealing in an alternate reality on that one. I mean, who's not going to want to sign 35 bombs and 100 RBIs a year? Damn the defense. We'll work it out somewhere else.
I mean, look, he didn't get it the previous summer. Yeah. And
did he screw that up? Did he screw that up himself?
We have not heard, and maybe you guys have heard. I haven't heard if there was another offer out there besides Baltimore.
Yeah, that's true. No. We don't know.
I don't know who else was getting in 5 years.
Crazy money.
You can look around the league and be like, look, there's only a certain number of teams. I think Boston was in because I know people around here thought they were going to get him.
Good signing for Boston.
And would have been great. I would have been so happy if Pete came here and just was bashing balls over the monster for the next 4 years. But they didn't get him. Maybe they offered him 4 years. But
Boston is not the smartest.
When it comes to hanging on to, you want to talk about homegrown talent, they don't have a good track record. But some of the replacements, I do want to I don't look. I'm not usually one to lean on spring training stats, but Jeff McNeil's hitting 233 in the spring, and only because it fits the narrative I'm trying to make. Am I going to point out that he's hitting 233? He hit 243 in the regular season last year. Now his career regular season is 284, but anybody who's followed him knows that there's those years, the MVP year. And, kind of, you can see batting title. Sorry. Yes. My apologies. Yes. He was never an MVP, but 22, he hits 333, but even the year before that, it was 255. So yes. So, I think that we can agree with that. The pivot, by the way, guy I never wanted to have to root for, Cody Bellinger. So excited that I don't have to root for Cody Bellinger.
What's your beef with Cody Bellinger?
Well, it seems like he's a dick, and if they're going for the let's not have dicks on the team, that's great. And so the Bichette thing just kind of unfolds overnight. Philly was convinced they had him for less money. Him. Nobody signed anything, but yes,
right. But he must have given verbal assent.
Yeah. And how did that play out in New York, Brody? All of a sudden, that not only did they swoop in and steal Bo Bichette, but they stole him from the Phillies.
Well, I mean, first you had the Tucker disappointment where you thought, oh, we're getting Tucker. We're going to outbid everybody. Yeah. And then he ends up on the Dodgers. You're like, okay, it's still David Stearns. He's still smarter than most people. People turned on Stearns when Nimmo was traded. They turned on him brutally with Diaz. They wanted him fired over Pete. Like he was an incompetent.
It looked really bad, man.
Yeah, and I'll just interject that December, I didn't want any Mets stuff for Christmas, and I actually forgot that earlier in the year I had gotten a Mets advent calendar where every day I was going to get a new Mets. Completely forgot.
It's just empty.
Yeah,
they take chocolate from you.
It was like December 15th, and I'm like, oh yeah, don't I have a Mets advent? Forget it. But anyway, so yeah, back to what you were saying, Brody.
Yeah, so they were acting like the man was incompetent and didn't know how to run a baseball team. And then when he lost out to Tucker, they're like, oh, all of Steve Cohen's money, and he can't even buy Tucker. Yeah. Nobody wants to come here. Cancerous clubhouse. No one's going to sign here. No one's going to get all of that. And out of nowhere, out of the jaws of defeat, we get Bichette, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, what?
First domino.
Yeah, it was mayhem on the radio stations. People were like, what? We got who? How'd that happen? And then because they're negative, oh, sure, he's the backup plan. Why would he even want to come here? He's the backup plan. No, he's an alternate plan. Oh, what happened? And then it became the what happened to run prevention? What happened to defense? They took the one little thing he said about improving run prevention and made that the title for everything he did. Oh, how is this run prevention? How is it? There's more to run prevention than just defense. Also, he got a better second baseman. Yeah. Pitching, right? A deeper bullpen, a Gold Glove center fielder. Then when they got Robert, they forgot about the defense thing. Like, he can't hit. He can't hit. He's an idiot. Why would you trade Acuna? Acuna's going to be a superstar. Well, he's been here 3 years. He's not a superstar.
He's not a superstar.
He's a utility infielder at best. He has no power.
I loved him. I have no problem with that trade whatsoever.
Yeah, gotta go.
Of course. No.
Got 9 shortstops.
I know that Weiss has seen this, but there was a lot of surprise in Philadelphia when the Mets stole Bo Bichette.
This is the best. I know. I'm not overselling it.
No, you're not overselling it. I forget what I think when I bring it up, I'll see who it is. I'm not going to play as many clips as I do some years, but this one is can't miss.
I don't want to say want Bichette back because he's an excellent hitter and you want that type of player in your lineup.
So they're talking about about the Blue Jays at this point, that obviously they would want him back, but they're like, okay, yeah, but now we're getting him, as in the Phillies.
But it feels like the Blue Jays have potentially.
What? It just broke? Bo Bichette? Bo Bichette to the Mets? What? Why? They have Simeon, Lindor, and Vientos.
Denial is the first.
What? The Mets? Are you bleeping kidding me?
The best.
Oh my God.
I love to
And I
watch
do love
Philly
for our
suffer.
audio audience, the guy on the left. I mean, he's just got his mouth wide open. He's like, wait, I mean, we didn't prepare for this scenario in the pre-show meeting, you know?
The Mets? Here's the thing.
Where's he playing?
And who
Who are they
cares?
moving?
So he's going to have to.
Bargaining.
What?
Is he going to.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're in the bargaining stage. You're right. Immediately they were in the denial. The Mets don't need him. They're like, all right, well, where's he going to play?
He's not going to DH. I imagine he'll play a little bit everywhere. I guess he'll probably play.
New York Mets on a 3-year deal pending physical league sell. Oh my!
By the way, he didn't really believe it until he saw it on X/Twitter. All right, well, because we had fun with that one, I got one more.
Just lost out to the Mets. Bo Bichette. We just lost out. Middleton. What happened to stupid money? Overpay because it's 3 years, 126. You want your trophy back? Where is Bichette? You lost out to the Mets. It's unthinkable. Unthinkable. Misery week continues. First the Eagles, everybody loses, and now we lost Bichette.
I think they took it well in Philly. For Philly, that's actually no cars got flipped over, nothing got set on fire. So what were you saying, Devin?
Lest we forget, Bo Bichette was like literally in tears talking about Marcus Semien.
Yeah,
a couple of, like,
really,
like apparently loves Marcus Semien like an uncle. Yeah. And so
Marcus Semien looks serious, man.
Yeah, I mean, I love Bo Bichette. He was nowhere on anyone's radar. I was like, this is great. I've met Bo Bichette for a story I did. He is just a sweet dingbat, which is exactly what you want in a baseball player. I think he is like, I can't wait to have him on this team, even if it's only for one season, which frankly, let's hope it is for one season, because it means he crushed the ball all year, right? Yeah.
Do you have an opt-out after one season?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're all opt-outs.
Yeah, they're big on the opt-outs now, which I'm okay with, actually.
And, it was a bit of a, you do kind of like, okay, so he's going to play third and this guy is going to play first. And, I do put some stock, and I've asked around a little bit, do we put any stock in this? Okay, they're all four former major league shortstops. Do we put any stock in that? And the answer is some. It's not nothing. It's not nothing. It'd be better if they were major league third baseman and first baseman, but it's not nothing that they've got really good major league instincts and, can play the diamonds. So I was very, very excited about it. I'm curious to hear about some of the clubhouse stuff from last year that you were talking about. Because
Let me just, by the way, I don't know. Semien doesn't look too serious. Look how happy he is to be. I mean, this is probably CGI Mets uniform.
It can look kind of intimidating, though. I know
that's true. Actually, if you stare in his eyes, you know what? Yeah, I got to look away. Anyway, Brody. So let's talk a little bit, as much as you can or want to say about. Again, you're a local. You got your boots on the ground. You're a local guy out there. What did you hear about the actual level of dysfunction within the Mets clubhouse last year?
So I believe Mike Francesa first reported it, or made the opinion, or gave the opinion that before he fell asleep on the air, he said that he heard there was political infighting between the non-Trump supporters and the Trump supporters.
Sure.
And that the people that were traded tended to be the Trump supporters, and that there was a lot of preaching going on in the clubhouse, either religion and or politics, and it rubbed the wrong people the wrong way. And so
like Lindor.
Right. The team made a decision. Do we want to go with Lindor or Soto, or the people we feel maybe are spreading political things that are ruffling feathers? Now, I don't know. I can't confirm the specifics exactly, but I can confirm from people I know who work for the Mets front office and organization, said there's a lot of truth to what you might be hearing, didn't give specifics.
Sure. Okay.
And someone who I've become friendly with, who worked in a situation that placed them in the clubhouse numerous times, said they were witness to lots of political infighting between, let's say, red hats and non-red hats. and it got uncomfortable, and it didn't make for a fun environment. And that may be why you see Juan Soto enjoying the WBC more than he did as what we saw, the emotion. But there was definitely an underpinning of religion and politics that people were spreading. Now, if you want to point directly to Brandon Nimmo, I've never heard his name, but he certainly fits that bill. He's a great guy. He seems like a nice man, but could his philosophies bother people? Who knows?
He donated to Trump within days of the January 6th.
Okay. His politics are fairly well known.
Based on that, I would trade him immediately, but that's me. So well.
But by the way, if
the politics stuff, not the religion stuff, the politics stuff just in a baseball clubhouse seems so implausible to me.
But in any job, you don't talk politics and you don't talk religion.
No, but
this is 2026.
There's a level to it. And look, there's a reason why the Dodgers got out in front this year to say we're not going to go meet with Trump at the White House when we play the Nationals. It's a scheduling issue. Maybe we'll do it later in the year.
Yeah.
You think that there's guys on that? You think Max Muncy wants to not meet Trump? But there's a few guys on that team that are probably like, we can't go again this year. And also again, it's hard to separate the politics entirely, but ICE did try to get in the parking lot at Dodger Stadium and, kind of look for some people, let's say. And because it's private property, the Dodgers turned them away. So I'm saying that there's a level with which I think you used to be able to be like, yeah, we can disagree, but we're out there. And look, if they were winning at a clip where everybody was happy, you probably don't lean on that stuff. So that's kind of what we've heard. And we'll see. Maybe this clubhouse is going to get along worse than the one from last year. But
maybe they'll perform better.
Yeah, well, that's true. And then they're smiling. Yeah,
the Yankees, the Bronx Zoo Yankees hated each other.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. Yeah, and
they were also a lot better.
Yes. Yeah. But there was the more recent, I think Peacock had a documentary, like when the Yankees added Deion Sanders, whatever that season is, that sometimes there's no righting the ship. So we'll see what we end up getting.
Ship is sinking.
Yeah. So
as Michael Ray said.
At this point, I think it's important to say best case scenario, these guys play at a high level and where do we think? Oh, we didn't even talk about Peralta. So let's mention that real quick. That was, I think, a solid trade. Stearns is obviously well aware of the value of Peralta, and that's another 1-year deal, right? I mean, they would have to
effectively. I mean,
effectively, right.
Yeah.
Although we'll see.
So I like that because that's really what was missing was somebody who you consider to be a top line starter and has the track record. So I think that I'm going to go first this year, and I'm going to say that I will expect to clip myself and eat my words. So here. So as I look at the NL East, I see so many injuries to the Braves again this year. Spencer Strider is going to start on the DL.
What's his injury?
Oblique injury.
Yeah.
It's okay. Injury. Well, that'll heal. It's not an elbow.
Yeah, I know, but he's starting. He's not starting where you want him to.
No, but
and Chris Sale, Devin, you lived in Boston long enough. Chris Sale's probably due for one of those Boston years. So I don't expect the Braves to be much better than last
year in the same year. Sometimes,
right? That's true.
He's 37. He's not going to pitch 30.
He's 37.
Yeah. So and. I think that they will not be vastly improved, and I don't know. I don't buy into the Philly. Oh wait, this should be full screen. I don't buy into the Phillies this year because they didn't add a Bo Bichette, and what did they do to compensate? Nothing. They've got some great young talent that again, let's see where it goes. But I think the Mets would actually win this division, and I don't think I ever picked them to win the division. But I feel good about it, and. There a lot of like SNY put out their picks. New York Post put out their picks. I think I might be drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, but Devin, you were talking about how excited you are. Am I letting my my feelings get in front of logic?
No. I mean, you're I think the Mets are going to be a playoff team. I feel very, very good about that. The only reason I hesitate on the division is because I think I'm a lot higher on the Phillies maybe than you are. I agree they didn't change anything. They just brought back a really damn good team. That seems really, really good as far as I can tell, despite all the complaining. They still look really good to me. Yeah. I agree with you about the Braves. I do think their offense is probably going to bounce back some, but their pitching is such a mess. They are so thin. If you look past their starters, oh my God, it's like it's really like it's quadruple A. The rest of the team, it's like 5 good players in quadruple A. The Mets last year, I remember when we had this conversation. The 2 things I was really worried about going into the season, and I was not feeling great, were one, we had just had way too much good luck in 2024 for it to go back. Have more in 2025. The mojo had to be against us, right? Just had to be.
It's true.
And I remember looking at our starting rotation and being like, we went to the National League Championship Series the year before. Is this really our starting rotation? This is it?
Yeah.
And for 2 months, I felt really dumb because it turned out not only did I need to squint to be okay with it, they were apparently the best rotation in the major leagues. Remember, for 2 months?
Yeah. 2 months.
That's true.
And
those 2 months. Yeah.
And then, right. This year, what excites me is the explosive upside across the roster, right? That is what excites me is. At the beginning of the year this time, I was like, okay, Jeff McNeil, maybe he'll bat 260 this year and not 240. And maybe Brandon Nimmo will hit 25 home runs and maybe he'll walk a little more like he used to. But he's Brandon Nimmo. I know who he is. And maybe Jose Siri will be good or something like that. Maybe he'll be a hitter.
We had Jesse Winker.
And Jesse Winker, okay, he's nice. And Sean Manaea was, if he had been healthy, would have been our opening day starter. He was the highest paid pitcher in that rotation. And now I'm looking around the field and there's Bo Bichette, right? There's Carson Daly, as people have taken to calling him over because the kid just all he does is get on base, right? Luis Robert in center field, who looks like a superhero. I mean, I have no idea if he's going to be a good baseball player. He has been, but I know that guy's better than the slop we ran out last year, and he could be a monster, right? It's possible they're a monster.
If he hits 270, that's a monster for us.
I mean, if he plays great center field and hits 270, but like there is just McLean the whole year. Senga is healthy, and Juan Soto's calling him an ace.
Very high ceiling.
Probably would have been the opening day starter last year. If he was healthy, didn't make the rotation this year, right? Manaea's not even in the rotation this year.
He's throwing like 85.
Well, apparently he hit 92 yesterday.
Okay, all right.
Was he in a car?
Yeah, exactly. I have concerns. I have no idea if Bo Bichette can consistently make that throw. I have no idea if Jorge Polanco can play first base, but I know Pete Alonso could not play first base. Right.
Yeah.
And I know Bo Bichette can hit the crap out of the ball and that he seems to specialize in doing it with runners on base. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. It's something
and I'm just excited about the depth of talent across the roster. When your eighth or ninth starter is Jonah Tom coming out of the minor leagues, right? Not like the third person after Griffin Canning.
Julio Teheran.
Oh my God. You know, like there's just this team has, I would say, 5% shoot the moon potential, right? Last year, that team did not have shoot the moon potential. That team was going to peak out with that pitching staff was going to peak out at around 92, 93 wins and lose in the playoffs. This team has shoot the moon capacity. I don't think it's going to happen, but you can see a universe where 7 guys in this lineup hit 20 home runs easily.
Yeah.
And
that's
the rotation,
what Stearns is shooting for.
And, you know, your one all-star from the first half is your worst guy in the rotation. It's David Peterson, right? So it's possible. There's so much more talent on this team that I just can't wait to see what it all looks like.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, you have to have a Peacock subscription to see how it all comes together, which we'll talk about. Weiss, I think that Peterson is going to be this year's McNeil for you because he was already, they were like 1 and 1A last year. I know, but
the second half was McNeil. You know, he has decent stuff, but he has zero competitive fire.
Yeah.
You know, when things get rough, he folds. He doesn't pitch well with a lead.
Just get him to the back of the rotation.
I think if he's not matching up with the other team's ace, I think he's got a much better chance at success. But he does need to, I guess, nut up, as they say, when he's got two guys on base. It's okay. You can get a couple outs. So, do you see a division title or just? Sure. Hey, they're going to make the playoffs. I think you and Weiss.
I think the Mets and the Phillies are the two best.
I do agree with
the exception of the Dodgers. I think the Mets and the Phillies are the two best teams in the National League, and I think it's going to be quite a race. I think you could see both of those teams winning 95 games. I just think the Phillies pitching is so good. It's just so good.
Well, without Nola and without Wheeler.
Well, Wheeler's going to be there.
Wheeler looks like he's not going to be gone for very long.
Yeah.
Sanchez is really good. I think Luzardo is very good. They have a very good track record with starting pitchers to begin with. They just do a really good job with that. They have some kids. We'll see if they're any good. But I know they're older, and I know that they didn't fill some holes. But I think Trey Turner is still going to be really good this year. I think Kyle Schwarber is still going to be really good this year.
Trey Turner is one of my favorite players.
Yeah, I think Bryce Harper is going to have a really good year this year. You know what I mean? I think JT Realmuto is probably a little bit up, but I think they're pretty much the same team, and that's
a year older.
That may anger Phillies fans, but it doesn't.
They're already angry.
It doesn't make me feel like the division is suddenly ripe for the pluck. I still think it's going to be really hard.
No.
Just pick the spots that you bring in Orion Kerkering, and just be aware of his surroundings before you put him out there. Brody,
they're going to be a lot more fun to watch. I'll say that. I mean, I'm going to have a lot more fun. I think watching this Mets team than they're going to have rewatching their Phillies team. So
fair enough. Yeah, I agree with that. What are your thoughts, Mr. Brody?
Well, in writing my my list of all the divisions,
good.
I thought we've done this now 5 years, 4 years, 6 years.
I forget how long you've been a part of it, but yeah, we've been doing it for a while for sure. Yeah,
and every year we all begrudgingly or proudly pick the Mets to win the division. Mostly,
I usually don't.
Every time, well, most of us, yes. And then I picked them, and then they don't win. And I look back and I go, God, that preview Bladtcast, I picked them again. I must have thought they were going to win, but they didn't. I tried very hard this year to put them second to the Phillies. And then I thought, well, Wheeler's coming back from injury, and Nola's gone, and Realmuto's getting older, and Alec Boehm is a disaster. I'm going to pick the Mets. So I picked the Mets again because I'm a glutton for punishment. But to everybody else's point, I think the lineup is better. It's more balanced. We have guys on the team that hit 330 with runners in scoring position. Every Met game
we addressed the weakness.
Left on base. Oh, second and third, 2 outs, innings over. They can't get a fly ball
for 60 years.
So having Polanco and Bichette, who when they come, and Soto now, who hit better in the second half, come up to the plate where you feel like this guy's probably going to get a hit. 1 out of 3 is getting a hit. So
you think Mets fans have any idea who Polanco is?
No, zero.
No. That guy was hitting lasers all over the place in the biggest
switch hitter too.
But people don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah, no, I mean, he definitely rose to the occasion in October.
He has an opportunity to introduce himself bigly.
Because I know Devin's got about 15 more minutes or so. I want to make sure that we at least finish the National League. It feels very easy to talk about the National League West. There's really no stopping the Dodgers. I was actually not hugely disappointed when they kept adding, like the old Nickelodeon Toys R Us toy run where you could just run with a shopping or a supermarket sweep where you're just throwing everything into the shopping cart. You're going to figure out if you need it or not. It's going to work. Kyle Tucker, you'll notice one thing about Kyle Tucker. The Cubs did not try to re-sign him.
Mm-hmm.
He's apparently not a great clubhouse guy. He's a guy who sits off in the corner and looks at his phone. And I think we need less of that. And I don't know that the Dodgers need much of it, but boy, they sure are good. So they could probably have 3 or 4 of those guys. So I see no scenario. I see no catastrophe that prevents them from winning the NL West. And I don't even think it's worth talking about. I do think that the Padres have definitely slid back. It looks like the Giants are trying. So I could see the Giants maybe even making the playoffs in second place in the NL West. But I'll just sort of throw it out to the floor. Does anybody think I'm wrong on the Padres? Because I think we saw a backslide last year and they were still okay last year. They're still good enough to make the playoffs.
The Padres' problem is that they think they won.
Right. Yeah.
It never seems to work with them, does it?
No. I mean, they have so much attitude. Beat LA. It's
really Manny Machado. That's the
and they
problem.
don't seem to like each other all that much.
No.
And this is a situation. I think they're an interesting team to monitor because they're up for sale or going to be very soon.
Are they?
Yeah,
okay.
and they're very, very expensive budget wise right now.
Yeah.
And they are a team, there were already rumors this offseason that this was going to happen and it didn't. But if this is a team that if they go off the rails and fall behind and fall to the race, which in that division is not going to be hard to do necessarily,
right? You
could see a fire sale, and they have some pieces that I think would be very, very interesting.
Very attractive.
But
one of them
only on
Baseball
certain
Classic and throws 103 miles an hour.
But
I would love to pry away from them.
But Machado and Tatis are guys that would succeed only on certain teams.
Yeah, I don't know if I want
either. You don't want that attitude on a team that's contending.
But I don't think it would be them for us at this point. At this point, Machado, obviously we don't have a spot for him, so it's not going to be him.
Trade him to Miami.
And if Carson Bench is who he looks to be.
He can be half.
You don't need a right fielder either.
Yeah.
And Carson Bench, he just looks like, I don't know. Maybe can we talk about a little bit about him? Because I don't know. It's all.
Let's talk a lot about him.
But I'm so excited about what kind of a player he looks like.
Yeah, he looks ready.
Yeah, but just like fighting through at bats and going the other way and getting on base and doing everything, having a cannon of an arm and maybe hit a home run or maybe hit a double. I just love it. I love it. And I just hope that that's who he is. And I feel like the Mets have more of those players around now.
Yeah. No, definitely. Brody, what were you going to say about all of this?
Well, as far as Machado and Tatis, let's focus on Machado. If you got Machado, you got a DH, or you have a third baseman, and Bichette doesn't have to worry about learning third base. Let's say by the end of the year, you find room for Machado if the deal is right. I wouldn't take Tatis. The cost would be high. His salary's high. He's a PED user. I don't want him on the team. I don't want him. Machado, on the other hand, he's got a couple of years left on his deal. Put him at third. Bichette opts out. You got a third baseman. So I wouldn't say no to that.
We are trying to have a no dicks. We're trying to have a no dicks.
Yeah, we just solved the big clubhouse problem.
But I know what you're saying.
Why risk it?
But maybe Machado on a team with Lindor and Soto and a Hispanic manager, maybe he's less of a dick in that environment. I don't know, but maybe the team can handle one dick.
I think my concern with him is not so much that he's 32. I think he's 32 or he's pretty older than we think, but I think he kind of is who he is. My concern with him is I've always wondered if the dick stuff is a little bit overrated, but what would be a problem, I'm actually okay with his look. I play every fucking day. I'm not going to run out a lazy ground ball to first base I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. That's his attitude and has been his whole career, which I almost kind of respect because it's just he's stuck with it and that's what he believes and he does play.
Yeah.
I don't think that shit's going to go over well in New York at all.
No,
his philosophy is.
The first time he doesn't run out of ball, oh my God.
Can you imagine? It's just you talk about like somebody who I just don't think it's the right fit.
Maybe,
but it's someone who would fit there. But they've got several players on that team we still haven't even talked about who I think, could really, really help a team. And, it's interesting to think about, getting way ahead of ourselves to like a trade deadline situation where you're like, okay, well, what, when the Mets are going to be filling, what are they going to be filling? And to me, when I look at this team, and we've talked about the positional issues of gloves, I still think the biggest issue is that there's no one in the bullpen who can just fucking blow someone away.
Yes.
Just blow people away.
Right.
And that's a little, and there's some kids who might come up and do that, right? That's I think what they're hoping.
Yeah, Dylan Ross is one of them.
Dylan Ross, who's the guy who eats all the eggs? What's his name? Have you heard about this guy, the double-A guy who throws 108?
Oh, no, I have not heard about it.
Yeah, he ate like 100 eggs. Go look this up. This is.
Oh, yeah. And McLean said he would eat 100 eggs if he could throw like him.
Yeah. So, just calling him Luke. Let's just call him Luke for the time being.
Right.
Let's assume he's coming up at some point. But like, we could really use a fireballer in that pen because right now we've got like a lot of nice arms in that pen. I like those guys. They're all professional relievers.
You need a blunt instrument.
But there's no blunt instrument there.
Ryan Lambert, by the way.
That's it.
Yeah, that's who eats all the eggs. So does anybody think that the Padres are a playoff team this year? Are they likely to be second in the NL West?
Okay. I think so.
You do? Yeah. Right. What's their rotation? Can someone who knows?
Yeah, I can get that for you.
I feel like they've got Joe Musgrove back, right?
Yeah.
But they do not have.
So it's Nick Pivetta, Michael King, Musgrove, Randy Vasquez, and Herman Marquez.
It's not awful. It's not great.
It's not guys you want to run out in a short series, but I understand what you're saying. There's a couple of great ones in there.
They have Jake Cronenworth still?
Yeah, he's still there.
He's a good player.
Xander Bogaerts, when healthy, it'd be there. So I think that what we were basically all saying is that the Padres do tend to celebrate too much. And it kind of goes back to this moment in 2022.
Going down to yellow and brown. That's what's in. Padres on the loose. Let's go, Goose. That's what's in. Bryce gonna lose and Manny's gonna cruise. That's what's in. Give Philly no slack and send them back. That's what's in.
Well, it hasn't been what's in so far, so I can't imagine. That's half the clip, by the way. There's that much more of that song.
Was that sincere?
Those guys. Oh yeah, those guys are Padre. Yeah. They were on the local news. Yeah, but just okay. Well, you know what?
So back, Philly, back, Philly, back.
This explains so much.
It does. Philly, back. That's why I showed it because
lame.
I love that ballpark. That's probably the second.
Do none of them have
ballpark in Major League Baseball? What's that?
Or rhythm?
No, you can't.
None of those things are true.
Yeah,
those guys.
I like Arizona more than them for what it's worth.
Yeah, I think Arizona's a better team.
At least Arizona has an identity, which is we hit ball hard.
Yeah,
right.
Very hard.
That works. That's a good identity.
So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see, you know what, and when you put it that way, it's like Arizona is probably, sorry, Ladastro, after me playing that clip, says, what have we done to be punished?
Ladastro.
I can't imagine I'll have it. Oh yeah, that's right. That's your favorite guy in the chat. But yeah, I can't imagine we'll be playing that clip for the playoff preview, but who knows? Yeah, and I do think you're right about Arizona, but I don't know. I just felt like San Francisco definitely improved. I don't think that Drew Gilbert was the loss that you were talking about. You were going crazy at the trade deadline. I don't even think he's going to make their roster. So yeah, he had a nice moment, but I do want to kind of quickly toss it to Devin before he has to go, since we're just gonna, we'll finish the National League before you go.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Brewers overperformed what I expected last year. They're still mostly the same team, but they don't have Peralta. I feel like the Cubbies might actually do it, but I'm not going to promise any pizzas. What do you think when you look at the NL Central? Those feel like the only two teams we should talk about, right?
I still think the Reds could nudge their way in there. I thought they had a really good offseason. I think Abbott is a under the radar Cy Young candidate.
Is the Hunter Green hurt?
The injury to Hunter Green is really rough, although it does not appear to be season ending.
But
bone spurs rather than, but like, obviously they need him. But yes, I mean, I think I actually am more of a believer in the Brewers just doing this again, outperforming again. I think they're going to love Jet Williams. I mean, it was you have to give something to get something, and I think Jet Williams is exactly.
Did he make the team?
Love there. I don't think he made the team this year, but I think they're going to love him pretty soon.
Wow.
I'm very, very happy, by the way, that I have a good friend who's a Brewers fan, and he was really pissed that we got Tobias Myers too. Like he was really pissed about that.
Okay.
He looks good.
That ruined the trade as far as he was concerned. and I always liked that. I liked hearing that Mariners fans, although they knew they weren't going to get to keep Polanco, I think they were expecting to lose him, but they were really bummed. That you always want the team that's losing the player to be like, oh, crap, I can't believe we're losing that guy. Not good riddance, Kyle Tucker.
So he was going to say, so long, Kyle Tucker.
It's been great.
Just to circle back to the Reds for a second, by the way, I think Eugenio Suarez in the middle of that lineup. I mean, that's
nice.
gonna.
I really like that. But I think I think the Cubs. I'm still not sure they're starting pitching. Like if we went through their rotation, I think their Padres rotation we'd probably be happier about, right? So I think that's a little bit.
I can't name a Cubs starter. Can you?
I mean, that's not good, right? No. I mean, I think I.
Yeah, but
Imanaga,
you're a professional.
Matthew Boyd, Cade Horton, Edward Cabrera, and let's not forget about Jameson Tyone.
It's dicey. They catch the ball incredibly well. Like they are like the craziest defense in the National League. So
because they have probably the best center fielder in the game, and Pete Crow Armstrong would be.
Right. Where did he come from again?
I know. Only an idiot would say goodbye to that player for a guy who can strike out for half a season. But anyway, we don't have time for that.
By the way, I guess the parting thought on the Pete Crow Armstrong, because obviously he's great, is it's going to kill us every time we see him.
Yes.
But sometimes they're Pete Crow Armstrong, and sometimes they're Travis Kelenic, right?
Yep.
And
sometimes
Kelenic is.
Or Greg Jeffries.
Right? Or we'll see which one Carson Benj is. But I'm very, very excited about this team, and I want to thank you before I head off, David and Kristen, because this I always look forward to this. This is my kickoff, my official sort of let's get back into it. This is my first long talk about the Mets every year, and that makes me very, very happy. So it's good to see you guys, and let's go.
And we'll all be gathered around watching opening day on Peacock. And it's Peralta and Skeens, and all they can do is work up the pitch count. So many ways to lose. The amazing true story of the New York Mets, the best worst team in sports. Devin Gordon, thank you as always, and we'll see you in October, one way or the have.
We will
by hook or by crook. We'll see.
By hook or by crook. Bye, folks.
All right, thank you so much. Bye. Always good to have him join us, and it's it gives us an air of authenticity that somebody
that we desperately need.
We definitely did. Well, Flobo usually props us up, and he left us high and dry this year. What do you guys think about the NL Central? And boy, you're going to see us go through the American League really fast. But what do you guys? I'll go with you first, Weiss. You want to promise any pizzas?
I do not.
I
do not. But
I was trying to get you one, Brody.
I'm pretty much in agreement with Devin. Milwaukee seems like they're a good, solid NL Central team. Mm-hmm. And, the Cubs and the Reds will probably fight it out for second, and the rest is garbage.
There's definitely some garbage there. I definitely agree. I mean, we're not. I mean, the Pirates are missing the opportunity to have the greatest pitcher of
our generation.
And Tarek Skubal's a great pitcher too. I'm just saying they have this player and they don't do anything to build a team around him that can compete.
They're doing the opposite.
Yeah, I know. And it's criminal is what it is. But and the Cardinals look like they're going to stink again.
They're rebuilding. They may be better, but I don't see anything on the Cardinals that makes me go,
As long as they have Skip Carey in the booth, I can't watch any games. So I'll just see the old box score. And what about you, Brody? As you look at the NL West, we got the Cubbies. The Reds did edge out the Mets for the playoffs, and the Brew Crew.
Look, in my money, the Cubs are winning. It's a division full of crap. The Brewers lost Peralta. I don't know how Sproat's going to do. He's not going to replace Peralta. I don't know if they're demoralized that their team can't re-sign free agents. They're a solid team, good defensive, good fundamentally. That I like the team. Maybe they finish second. I got to be honest with you. I'm excited about the Pirates. Not that they're going to win anything, but they at least didn't get Murakami, and they picked up. They added some talent. Not a lot of talent, but for them, they added some talent. I think they added Gregory Soto, so maybe not a lot of talent. But they did add some talent. Some talent. So at least it looks like they're trying. So I feel like I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm picking the Cardinals for last, and I think the Reds with Eugenio Suarez. It's very difficult to say. Eugenio.
Yes.
I think that's a nice addition. They made. Listen, Ellie De La Cruz is fantastic. They have a good young team, but it's the Cubs and Brewers, and everybody else is going to fight it out for, in my opinion, third, fourth, and fifth.
And I could see again them both making the playoffs. Not every division gets teams 1 and 2 in, but I could see them both making it. But the others are not going to whiff anything. Let's look at the American League, where we get to a point where there's one good division in the American League. And yes, we may have some East Coast bias because of where we're all from, but the American League East is great, even top to bottom. You can point out holes in the Orioles or the Rays,
or the Yankees.
Well, yeah, especially the Yankees. But they seem to find that way back into the playoffs. I think that the Red Sox are improved. I feel like any of those teams making the playoffs, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Literally they all can't, but
they all might.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it quite adds up, but
no,
I'm gonna still be Blue Jays heavy because of the way I feel about the Yankees. I'd like to see them win. I'd like to see them get back. I mean, they were 2 outs away. God damn it. I'm still traumatized by that World Series, and my team didn't even lose it. I mean, that was just horrific. And you got to give it up for Dave Roberts for pushing the right buttons at the right time. He is not a top to bottom 162 game manager where you're like, oh yeah, he's doing the right thing. But every move that he made, especially in Game 7 of the World Series, it worked. So, but I think it's the Jays. What about you, Brody?
It's the toughest division. Like the other ones are fairly easy to pick.
Yeah, because we only have to pick one team in both of those divisions.
Yeah, look, the Blue Jays were a lead from third base away from winning the World Series.
Yeah,
and they added Dylan Cease. They lost Bichette. They added Dylan Cease. So to me, they're still the front runner. The Yankees didn't do much other than re-sign the same team, although I do like Bednar.
Zero.
They did zero. Bednar in the bullpen, adding him last year I think is a solid addition. I think that improves their back end. Until I see Aaron Judge do anything in a game that means anything, I can't pick them to win anything because he did it again in the World Baseball Classic.
I was just going to say, he showed us in the World Baseball Classic, all those opportunities. Yeah.
And you watch a lot of people have been putting up retrospective clips of David Wright as Captain America in the World Baseball Classic, and you see the difference. The man had 15 RBIs or something or whatever, and a home run and game-winning ribbies, and that's what Captain America does. I'm not blaming the loss on Aaron Judge. I'm blaming the lack of winning on Aaron Judge. I'm saying the guy was not a leader. He gave the most boring speech I've ever seen any leader give. He didn't lead by example. There was no energy in that team. And so Aaron Judge is the greatest player of our generation other than Ohtani. And yet, until he does it in big moments, I can't pick the Yankees to win anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an A-Rod that doesn't cheat.
The worst thing that he did, and that's in the World Baseball Classic, was not staying on the field to congratulate Venezuela.
That's fair.
Not leading his teams. The guys out on the field, shake
100%.
hands like men, and go home.
And you had Kyle Schwarber ripping off that silver medal.
Right, that's bullshit.
He was being a real Jeff McNeil, that Kyle Schwarber.
That is such Phillies bullshit.
Look, when the World Series ends, they don't normally do what you're suggesting. But that being said, in a tournament where some of those guys are your teammates, I think it's different.
Yes,
absolutely. You're building the brand of baseball globally. I would have gone over and congratulated them. Now, look, they obviously thought they lost to an inferior team. They were pissed off, but they didn't lose on a bad call the way that the Dominican Republic lost on a bad call. They lost because they couldn't hit.
Yeah. No, it was, you got to go out there and be grateful that you're playing baseball. I mean, I don't want to sound, like an old fart. Oh, in the old days, they appreciated their opposition. But Bryce Harper is the only guy out there?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's the last guy I would have thought.
No, he's really like, I hate the fact that he's on the Phillies, but he's definitely changed my opinion of him in the last few years. He seems like, a guy who plays hard for his team. And so you can hate him as a competitor, but as a guy, he actually seems like Freddie Freeman's another one of those guys that I've hated every team he's been on, but you're like, this seems like a great guy, a great teammate.
He's a winner.
Yeah. So, Weiss, do you have a pick for the AL East?
I'm picking Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking Toronto had a great run. I don't think they can do it again in that division. I think there's just too much. Do
you want to put any Boston baked beans or New England clam chowder on it? Any kind
little
of
lobster roll, some lobster roll.
Lobster roll.
A sixer of Sam Adams.
I'll put a Roman Anthony T-shirt.
Whoa! Okay, all right.
No.
That's not a real bet. I know.
No. And so, if I could expound on the Yankees, for a moment,
please do.
The winningest team in Major League Baseball ever, and they can't figure out how to put a winning product on the field with the same guys.
What does Anthony Volpe have on Hal Steinbrenner? Like how? No, I mean, just he's still on the team. George would have he would have
gone last season.
With the.
I don't know.
Something very inappropriate.
Boone
Boone
and Cashman have to go. If that team is, they could use David Stearns. They need a.
Could use Billy Epler at this point.
Oh my God!
Epler made some good draft picks. He made some good trades. I got to say, we did some good things.
We have some of the players we do because of that. Exactly. I could see an improved Boston squad.
And what about Detroit? Detroit is
let's talk about the American League Central.
All right.
There's
formerly
two teams.
Formerly of the East.
That's why it's hard. Yeah. So we have Cleveland and Detroit and a bunch of other teams that
interchangeable.
The Cleveland Detroit playoff series was great. They were so evenly matched, and it is because in a lot of ways they're the same team. But Detroit has Skubal, at least for another year, or at least until the trade deadline. I think that those are really what you're picking from. I think you got to win that division because of the AL East. And I like the Tigers a little bit more than the Guardians. I almost called them the other name. The Guardians had one of the best closers in baseball, and he was fixing his games. Right, exactly. And his setup guy too, right? So, you know what? Yeah, it's not their fault, but at the same, it's not the team's fault, is what I mean. So yeah, I don't want to see them be competitive for a couple of years because I don't know, that's just really shitty. And I do remember one of those at bats where Clase got so pissed off was Pete Alonso striking out on like basically 4 balls because of what he had wagered. And he's so pissed that Pete struck out. And leave it to Pete when you don't think there's any way he could strike out. It's almost like he's, it's like Alvarez.
Don't get me started.
I know. I don't want to circle back. What do you think, Brody? I mean, to me, it's the Tigers, Guardians, and a bunch of dead weight.
I think the Pittsburgh Pirates have as much chance of winning the AL Central as the Twins, Royals, and White Sox do.
That's fair. So that's absolutely fair.
Yeah. So
and the Twins have one of the best. The Twins have one of the best hitters in baseball in Buxton, but it doesn't matter.
And the Royals have Bobby Witt Jr., but they're not going.
Yeah. And Starling Marte
and the Sasquatch and Pasquatch. So, Starling Marte. Yeah, exactly. Look, I think it's going to be interesting if when the trade deadline gets close, if the Tigers and Guardians are close. Like, let's say the Tigers are a game up or a game back, and they're in the hunt. Do they cut bait without a guarantee? In other words, if the AL East has 3 playoff spots locked up and the loser in the Central doesn't make the wild card, do they pull the plug on Skubal? If they're not up by 10 games, they're up by 1 game, and the Guardians just won 8 in a row. I don't know what they do because you can't let Skubal walk for nothing.
You can't, but you don't want to do like the Angels did with Ohtani, but at the same time, the way that they caught the Guardians this past year might. By the way, Ladastro, Brody's favorite, says Kansas City may have a top 10 offense this year. I'll believe it when I see it.
In barbecue?
In the AL Central?
In barbecue.
Top 10 guaranteed.
Top 10 in the AL Central, yeah. But I think when it comes to the AL West, to me, it's the Mariners and then a bunch of wannabes because the Mariners is largely the team that got to they got a game away from the World Series, and I could see them winning it again. I think that the Astros, the wheels have come off a bit, and
they're old. They're old.
Yeah, they're definitely old at this point.
Astros.
Oh yeah, that Astro. Yes, exactly. And I think that I hope that I hope that Brandon Nimmo has fun hanging out with DeGrom when he's healthy and actually pitching in a game. But the Rangers aren't winning anything. I don't know. I feel like it's the Mariners, and it's not even close. And talking about KC, Ladastra says they moved in and lowered fences, which I did not realize.
Who? The Astros?
No, he's talking about KC, Kansas City. I didn't realize.
Okay. All right.
They did. Yep. And Baltimore, I think, moved the left field fence back a little bit.
I think they did last year, right?
No, didn't they move it like all the way back? I think they moved it in again. They made another change.
Oh, they made another change. Yeah, probably.
Maybe, but that stupid left field thing, I think they lessened it.
Yeah. So what do you think, Brody, about the AL West?
Oh, it's the Mariners and a bunch of crap. I would say the Pittsburgh Pirates have as much chance of winning the AL West as the Astros, A's, and Angels. So
yeah,
baseball's got a real problem. I got to say, look at now going over this. Baseball has a real problem with the center of our country.
We are definitely getting a work stoppage. There is no doubt in my mind. Yes, I agree with you. By the way, weighing in absentia is our buddy who was unable to be here, the great Flobo Boyce, responsible for new content every day, except for apparently today. He predicts that the Mets are going 162-0. And getting the chip. I think if they go 162-0, it's hard to imagine them losing, 11 games in the playoffs. So sure. Thank you for that, Flobo. But what do you think about the Yeah, go ahead, Brody.
Tell that to the undefeated Patriots who lost in the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. And Astros will depend on starting pitching. And I don't.
Who's starting for the Astros? I can't name anybody.
Well, I think
the only one I knew was Framber Valdez, and he's gone.
Oh no. The Japanese player they signed. But that's the only other guy I could think of. The guy that everybody wanted, then nobody wanted him.
Yeah, I mean, because they still got Lance McCullers Jr. You're talking about it. Yeah, you're talking about Imai. I-M-A-I.
Oh yeah, Imai.
Yeah, Imai. Hunter Brown will be their opening day starter.
Oh,
Mike
good.
Burrows, Christian Javier.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so that's basically
bring back Don Blasingame.
Joaquin Andujar.
I think it's time. So do you agree with Brody? It's the Mariners and a bunch of crap.
Well, I mean, you can't expect the catcher to hit another 60.
Yeah.
Maybe he hits 30. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he is the big dumper. So, Brody, did you plan out on your chart going into the playoffs and through the playoffs?
Yes.
Okay, so I want you to give us your National League. Well, I don't know. Did you? I don't know. Give us your division series if you have wild card. Let us know what you have for the National League playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. So I didn't make the matchups, but what I did was, what is it? 6 teams make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Right. So I have Mets, Cubs, and Dodgers as your division winners.
Okay.
Phillies, Braves, and Padres as your wild card.
Okay.
That sounds
I'm
very reasonable.
I'm not going to fault any of that.
No. That sounds very reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Mets, Dodgers, and LCS, and I can't pick anybody over the Dodgers unless they, something tragic happens to 3 of their players where they break legs.
Yeah.
Well,
they have to.
Yeah.
Right.
They have gotten that much older, but I know what you're saying. It is very hard to pick against them. I understand.
I mean, they won the World Series, added Tucker and Diaz. I mean, come on.
Right.
Ridiculous. Salary cap. And as far as the AL, I took the Blue Jays, Tigers, and Mariners with wild cards, Red Sox, Yankees, Orioles, and Guardians.
Okay. Orioles. What do you base that on? Just Pete?
The fact is nobody else.
Okay.
So my options, if I don't pick the Orioles, my options were the Astros, the Rangers.
Rangers have a really top line starting pitching staff.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to mean anything. And, and in July, if guys go down, it won't. But they have a really stacked pitching staff.
100%.
I think that best case scenario for us is another Mets Dodgers National League Championship Series, and I guess I should abstain from picking, but I would. Here's what I'd like: Mets Mariners World Series, because that's what I wanted in 2000. The last thing I wanted was a fucking Subway Series because I knew how that was going to end. And so for now, 26 years, I've been like, boy, I would really like a Mariners Mets World Series. Everybody's so excited about the Subway Series. I wasn't. That's not what I wanted. And still, carrying the torch for that. And, Mets somehow figure it out. Were to, because maybe they have a crazy trade deadline or something. Who knows? I would love to see that, the Mets could probably beat the Mariners, but there's lots of ifs there. What do you think, Mr. Weiss?
Well, I don't think the Mariners are going to the World Series, and I don't think the Mets are going to the World Series either. I would not hope, but I think the World Series from the American League is going to come out of the American League East this year again.
I think that's fair. That's a very safe bet.
The American League just does not have the breadth of excellence that the National League has. There's nobody close to the Dodgers in the American League.
I think there
really isn't.
Like you're saying, Brody, I think that the fix for baseball is 10 less teams, and you could convince me that 15 less teams,
Relegation.
No.
We should get rid of some of these teams.
I think there should be 32 teams and have divisions of 4 like football does. I'm okay with that. My problem is there's too many teams that can't compete. Whereas in football, Green Bay can compete with the Rams because there's a cap, whether it's a hard cap or soft cap. The $400 billion Dodgers, it's like the three of us going to playing a little like 5-year-olds in wiffle ball. We're gonna win, but other than my family is not gonna be. Who else is gonna care? We beat up some kids. It's ridiculous. Now I'm saying this is a Mets fan with a $300 million payroll, which is astronomical, and then the Dodgers have, without deferred money, $500 million. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So try making good trades. Try, building a team, and you're buying everybody, and you're buying more people. It's just a joke. They should not have. Somebody should have said you can't have Kyle Tucker, you can't have Diaz. You have enough. You won the World Series.
But
and
see,
we need a cap.
that falls on Manfred, who's just a tool of billionaires.
That's fair.
There is no.
Yeah, but.
The emperor has no clothes. There's nobody in charge except
but
billionaires.
the Players Association is the strongest union of any sport.
Not right now.
Unless you're going to wipe out a season, you're not going to get to agree to a salary cap.
I believe that's what's going to happen, and I think they still won't get a salary cap, but it will be very different. We may not even have a show to do a year from now.
The CBA expires at the end of this season?
Yeah, after the World Series. Yeah, so that's it. So if you guys want to check out, everybody in the audience wants to check out opening day, the first game on Wednesday, the traditional opening day matchup between the New York Yankees and the San Francisco Giant
at night.
You have to have a subscription to Netflix, which most people do. If you want to watch the Mets or the world champion Dodgers, you need to have a subscription to Peacock. And then it gets super confusing during the course of the season, where you're going to be able to find these games. Because I thought Apple TV didn't have a deal anymore, and apparently they have a smaller deal. I think Amazon gets some games. It's very hard to keep track.
This is Manfred again, just selling out to the highest bidder without thinking about growing the game organically and slowly.
What I'll say is that the NFL had a playoff game on Peacock, except the one thing that the NFL does right is when games are on cable or streaming, they show them in the local market on broadcast television.
The NFL does it right.
They do it right in that respect, for sure.
But they also have the advantage of so few games.
That's fair. Yeah. What were you going to say, Brody?
Right. To David's point, it's a national sport.
Yeah.
If you put the Mets on Peacock, right? If you put the Mets on Peacock, but make them local in New York, who's going to watch them on Peacock in the rest of the country? Nobody.
Right.
So the only way you get people to watch Peacock is to make it exclusive to Peacock. Now, I'm not a fan of this bullshit, but I will tell you, as far as Apple TV goes, because I want to get a little rant. I don't know if they've changed anything for this year. I like Wayne Randazzo. I love the 4K presentation. Fantastic. But the pregame show with that redheaded woman and that doofus with the lingo and the slang, they're terrible.
Dog shit.
Terrible. They don't know the players. They use cliche.
They don't know the game.
They don't know the game. They should not be. And then they have the 3D stuff where they're standing in a hologram room.
Well, and I also hate the percentage that they'll get a hit that changes throughout the at bat.
I hate
what I will say is that
so
this year in particular, you should do the thing that I always recommend, which is mute your television and put on the radio broadcast of Howie Rose, because this is last year.
It doesn't line up. Doesn't line up. It's not live.
It can if you pause your DVR, because the radio's never ahead.
That's a lot of work.
It's worth it.
Hold on.
Hold on. Worth it.
I've done
For somebody
that,
who hated Vin Scully, you should consider it's worth it. What were you going to say, Brody?
Some of the streaming services can't be paused. I forget which one it is, but it's either Apple or Peacock. One of the baseball ones. You can't pause.
You're thinking of
and sign them up.
Brody, you're thinking of Pornhub. That's the streaming service.
Oh no! Oh, I pause it. I slow motion that ish.
And I'm going to agree with Ladastro. There was something special about Cincinnati being the first thing of the season. I stopped caring about the opening day tradition. Yeah. No, I mean, there was something nice about that. They'd have the parade. It was the whole thing.
Great.
Yeah. But nope. Giants in San Francisco at 5 p.m. Pacific, I think 8 p.m. Eastern.
It's going to be 28 degrees.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, I can't imagine. I know you're going in a few weeks. Anyway, so here we are. Play ball a little earlier than some years, but I'm excited for the season. If we have a good first half, that'll be good. It's the years where they're bad by Memorial Day that it gets really hard for me. So the Verlander Scherzer year came up earlier. That was a really tough one. It was like. Yeah. I think it was the third week of April, and I was like, oh, this is really not what I signed up for. But we'll see, and we'll be back in October to talk about the predictions. Thanks to
and how we were wrong.
Thanks to Ladastro, and thanks to Devin Gordon for being here, as always. So Many Ways to Lose is the book. And David Weiss, I'll be seeing you Thursday for opening day.
That's right.
First pitch is 10:15, so come over around 10:14 and 30 seconds Pacific time.
I thought I was sleeping over.
No. Come at 10:16. I'll pause it. But obviously 1:15 in the East.
Yes, of course.
And I get a text from Brody looking for my Peacock login. So I'll have to deal with that.
The last thing I need anything from you regarding the word Peacock. I'm good. I got my login. I got it.
Brody, where can people find you, sir?
You can find me in front of my Peacock on Thursday at 1:00. Also, you can find me on the Brooklyn Boys podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, and on social media at David Brody mostly.
And Brody will be part of our all-star panel over on Geekscape, covering episode by episode of Daredevil Born Again season 2, starting Wednesday night. And we've got 8 episodes. They double up episodes 2 and 3. And then in that 9th week, whatever it is, we get the Punisher TV movie. So much to talk about.
Oh, and Wonder Man was picked up for a second
season. Yeah. So,
by the way, about Daredevil, he can see, that's bullshit.
It's like Stevie Wonder, the whole thing. It's just like, yeah. I got a guy who's got a guy. Anyway, DY's comedy on social media if people want him. I'm at Christian DMZ. Please subscribe to the Bladtcast, Bladtcast, YouTube and audio. A little earlier, Ohio Dave said, I know why there was no show today. We got Baseball Geeks.
Absolutely.
The show that I usually do on Tuesdays, Who Are These Broadcasters, will be Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. It was actually because I had to try and get my kid into LA Zoo Camp. And that's all hands on deck. That is harder than getting Taylor Swift tickets. And
Third world problems.
I've done both. Yes, absolutely. And what I love about Ladastro, come for the Marvel chat, stay for the baseball. Well, we'll see you in both places. I know that Ladastro follows us around, so we appreciate it. That is all the time we have for now. But play ball, everybody, and we will see you next time on the Bladtcast when we'll be discussing the 50th anniversary of the Kiss album Destroyer with Metal Blade Records CEO Brian Slagle, author Martin Popoff, Mark Cicchini from the Three Sides of the Coin podcast, and Rich Kosak, who is the frontman for the band Mr. Speed. That's all the time, so we'll see you next time on the Bladtcast.